What's up, everybody? This your girl CC with Where It Begins Magazine, and I have a special guest on the line with me today. But this is our first interview for the year, and I have a new co-host, so I'm gonna let him introduce himself first.
What up, world? This your boy Theo. I'm all the booth representative #1. Man, shout out to CC. Shout out to Where It Begins Magazine. Coming along, bring a little bit different flavor to you guys this year. So hopefully y'all like the content we about to pump out.
Yes, 2022 is going to be a great year. But we have a special guest on the line. I'm going to let him introduce himself and who he is and what he does.
How you doing? Ray Ray McCloud III from the Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver. Appreciate CC and Theo having me, especially being the first time this year.
Yeah.
Yes, you are our first guest of the year. But tell everybody what made you want to pursue a career in football.
Kind of born into it, family. I have two little brothers that also, one's about to go to Clemson where I attended. The other one's a quarterback at Arizona, and I had a cousin that went to Georgia, cousin that went to Furman, cousin that went to Arizona a few years ago. So it's just in the family. My dad went to Arkansas as a Razorback, and it's deep in my blood. So,
Well, how was that journey? Just getting into football, period.
Getting into it was the easy part, but maintaining being number one, everything I do was the hard part. And that was just more, it wasn't hard when it came to game day, but practicing to be that, my dad made sure he made it hard for me off season always. I remember when I was a kid, me and my brother he used to make us run home from a Publix that was a little ways from the house. And every day we would come from school or we'd come from practice, we'd jog home. And he'd just sit there and go like 5 miles an hour, watch us run. And just remembering that those little things like that, like now I'm like, dang, that's what made us different. Like we left practice, got home at like 7:38, and then had to jog home. Just that little thing right there is just the dedication that he made, that sure we had installed in us when the time came when we had to go out on our own.
So it sounds like definitely you had some motivational forces pushing you. But for you personally, like, what was that moment where you were like, all right, this is for me? Like, a lot of us that play football, but obviously you separate yourself in a different class by making it to the highest level. So at what point did it kick in and you said, all right, this is what I'm gonna do with my life?
Young age or like something we remember, like
no, I mean, like young age. Like we all thought we had it when we scored that first touchdown, but then somewhere along the line we started to get real about it.
I was like 6. I always played baseball. Was my first sport. Like we could play that at a young age. That was the first time we could play. Like 4 years old, you could play t-ball, do all that. And baseball was my first sport. And when I turned 6, I remember playing for I think Town and Country Bears or something. And my first touch, I went 80. Like the first time I went 80. And somewhere on my storage, a little film, and my dad used to record everything. So that, and then when I was 12, I remember being they used to have college like weekends, right? Every Sunday, everybody come out there one-on-ones.
Mm-hmm.
And my uncle run a lot of 7-on-7 teams out here. And so my dad used to take me out there to watch sometimes. And then one weekend, he was just like, go out there. And I used to be like, man, they grown. Like, what I'm going out there for? Like, man, he like, take your butt out there, man. He ain't say it like that, but that's how I'm gonna say it like this when we on the camera.
Yeah, QP.
Yeah. So when we got out there, it was just like, I actually was like winning my reps. I'm like, and these boys in college and, you know what I'm saying, getting ready to go to college in high school and start high school. And I was winning my reps. And it was just like, it became so easy to me. And at the time I didn't play, I played receiver because I was a natural athlete, but all my life I played running back.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was gonna ask you that. I noticed your brothers look like play quarterback there. And I coming up, we all kind of switch around in positions. So what all positions did you play besides running back and obviously some time at receiver?
Shoot. Everything, honestly. But as I got older and I separated myself and like find out what I really want to do, I played cornerback and receiver and running back. And it was my I would want to go to college for. And I I was number one athlete coming out, number one, number two athlete coming out of my class of DB and running back. So they considered me an athlete on paper, and I chose what I wanted to do, and I chose receiver just because I wanted the ball in my hands.
Okay. And obviously kick return, you got that in your blood deep. Like you took those skills to the league, and obviously that's what we knew you for the first couple of years. Anytime I heard your name, it seemed like it was a little dangerous to kick it to you. But obviously they're giving the opportunity to show the rest of your well-rounded skills, especially this year. So one of the things I was kind of telling CC I wanted to talk to you about is like just what's that whole transition? You know what I mean? Like coming into the league, obviously you got some hotness. Anybody that makes it there, you already got something attached to your name. You put a resume together. But coming into the league, you spent your time and did what you had to do, repping on this team or that team, or going through on this squad. What got you to the level that kind of accumulated, into what we saw this year?
Well, off the field, I thought was for me coming into the league was what I need to focus on the most, from eating to habits, just like little things off the field. On the field, I feel like I was ready. Talent level was ready. Obviously, physically, you can always get physically better. But for me, coming to the league, that was one of the reasons I left college early, going to the NFL, to have someone, to have a vet to follow, have mentors to watch and learn from. Okay. So when I got to the league, I kind of knew I had to start special team, because that was one that was big on my resume in college. That was kind of one of the reasons I got drafted, because special teams. So I knew if I took special teams a little serious, I have opportunity to show my talent at receiver that I didn't get to do much of in college, because we were so powerful. It was like 21-0 the first 8 minutes of the game, so it was like everybody kind of sit down. And me playing running back my whole life, I needed work at receiver. I knew that, like, it just need reps at receiver, not work. I just needed reps. You get better as you get more reps. Yeah. And luckily, God blessed me with talent to be able to do that just off the strength of my talent, because I never really had a receivers coach till I got to NFL. Okay. Because we were so good, what was there to coach? But for me, when I just took the special team serious, which Coach Sweeney helped me with, just my mentality of like treating every rep, if it's practice or when you home by yourself catching punts or kickoff returns. Close your eyes before the ball's kicked, everything, and picture 85,000 people in the stands every time. It's fourth quarter. We need a big play here. Take every rep like a game rep, and I started doing that every practice, every game. Not even every practice, every scrimmage we had, and I think that bettered my game and took my game to the next level of being consistent, because that was another thing I needed to work on, was being consistent from a special team standpoint. And you said it was in my bloodline about the kick return stuff, but honestly, I had to grow into liking special teams. Okay. Because I was always a running back, and I was like, I'm gonna get the ball on the offense. I ain't worried about no special teams. Like,
don't disrespect. You obviously put the hard work in there. But it just is like, as soon as you got to the league, and like I got an affinity for kick returns myself. Any guy that'll grab the ball and just run straight at a crowd running at him, you know what I mean? Like, that takes a certain level of a person to really go out there and do that and have that mentality and to be so calm and make moves. Especially like some of your moves, you got some great like stop moves that I see. That takes a whole level of patience and probably zen and meditation that you got within yourself. But I just think that's crazy. You know what I mean? It's like running into traffic. So like, what was your first memorable, I guess, kick return that you brought back?
Probably be a punt return. Probably high school. Okay. In high school, it was against my older cousin's school. They had won a state championship, and he was the older cousin. Like, you ain't better than me, boy. Yada yada yada. Because we grew up playing the same little league, everything. Like, so everybody knew his name, Hank McCloud, but it was Ray Ray McCloud and all that. But they knew we were cousins with our last name, and we played against his school. And I remember the drive before that, I think I fumbled. And they ended up scoring that next drive they had. And they had a little bit of momentum, and then I broke I think 95 or something, and I kind of iced the game or whatever. And
Okay.
that was I think that was my 5th touchdown of that game.
Okay.
And it was that's when I kind of took the special teams more serious a little bit in high school.
Okay.
And that standpoint, because I'm like, I'm kind of good at this.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm gonna start going back there. I only went back there because we needed a big play. I didn't do kick return at the time. I was just doing offense and punt return. But I went back there because we needed a big play, and I ran it back. And then in college, I would say against Troy, which I made the play, but I made a dumb mistake. I threw the ball back, which is all over the internet. I threw the ball back at the 1.
Mm-hmm.
Like right before I scored, I threw it back, and I got in trouble for it at halftime. But because another player who also we grew up together, he made a dumb play right before half too, and the game was close when it wasn't supposed to be. And but when that happened, he was like, "Nah, I know you could do it. I need that every time you back there."
Yeah, yeah.
And but that was the most memorable play I had in college. Just when I threw the ball back, because it was a dumb mistake, but it was a sweet play though. But yeah.
Nah, good stuff, man. One more question, TC, then we'll get on to all the other stuff that Ray got going on with his own dopeness. But flash forward, obviously, we talked a little bit about college. We talked a little bit about high school. What was this year like with everything against the Steelers? You guys, nobody had money on you guys coming in, at least through the first quarter of the season, making it to the playoffs. Seems like you guys kind of willed yourself there on the shoulders of Big Ben. And then we all know that obviously this was his last hurrah. You personally stepped up big, it seemed like, in a lot of absences, a lot of COVID effective stuff that you guys had going on. So just this year, can you kind of speak to just what was the whole atmosphere like for you personally this year, trying to get everything done, trying to increase your role with all the craziness that was going on around you and all the hoopla with Ben?
Mostly for me was going into the season. I knew my role. I was a 5th receiver. With my number called, make plays. A lot of times that was my plan going in when I did go on offense. Okay. But I just kind of controlled what I controlled, and really took that in consideration every day. Every day on the practice was game day for me. I used to dress whatever I wore in the game, I try to wear during the week, so it just feel like every day was game day for me. Excuse me. So it was just for me, even with the team, every day, even when we were losing, whether we were winning or losing, it was always the same in the locker room. Coach Tomlin coached the same. You had your high, you had your lows, and that's part of a season. Okay. And for me, I try to keep that out of my laser focus is, because that's something that I can't control. I can't control what the defense is doing or the next person next to me. I got to control what I'm doing. So when my number called, my job is executed.
Okay.
Gotcha. But we talked a lot about your football. I want to go into the music and fashion. How do you keep up with the trends? And let's talk about your music and fashion, being in that world. Well,
the fashion part is just kind of something that just naturally all the time. It's not keep up with that. My girl in the fashion too. So sometimes if I don't feel like putting something together before a game, I have her do it. Just, what I wear, just put something together. And I critique it if I got to if I feel something else. And it's really a feeling thing. Some games I feel like wearing suits, some games I feel like wearing Dickies. But it's always a feeling thing. And with the entertainment world, during sports and during football season, I kind of stay away from everything. I don't go to studio. I don't none of that. I'll write here and there because we'll get some time off, and I'll write because something come to mind or something. Mm-hmm. But it'll stay on my phone. I'll never pursue it or do anything. I lose focus of what I got going on. But actually, my best friend, he's right here actually. But him and one of my other young artists who I mentor, they do music 24/7. That's all they do. So if it's that they know they could call me like, what you think about this one? Yeah, I answer all that. But me going to the studio, I stay away from that.
Okay, all right. And you got a nonprofit. Tell us a little bit about your nonprofit business.
Right now it's kind of actually being just the basis of it, the roots of it. So when I really dive deep into it, it's a rock. It's just ready to go. Like, it's not no other rebuilding things. And for me, it was more of empowering student athletes.
Okay.
With education side of it, you know, because for me, I have a sleeping disorder and ADHD. So those two kind of don't mesh well together. And in class, it was kind of, I mean, I graduated 4.5. So I was just naturally like smart, and me and teachers used to bump heads because I used to fall asleep. But it wasn't me being disrespectful. It was me because I really can't stay up. And I know there's a lot of kids out there that's not aware of what they have going on and can't focus because of ADHD, or probably do have a sleeping disorder as well and don't know that they do. I didn't know I did till I think my sophomore year of college. I got checked, and my first year in the NFL, I got checked again because it got a little worse. But it's called hypersomnia, and just empower student athletes to take the education more serious, because I had to buckle down a little harder than other people because of my disorders. You know, and then mentally, it's just when everybody's at you about something you can't control, mentally it gets to you. And so it also has a lot to do with the mental health aspect of it and everything else. So
if you want to kind of give one statement for people to take away from that, to people on the outside, because obviously, you know, we wish you the best with your nonprofit. We want to see that prosper and grow to be able to get your message out. But oftentimes that touches the people who are directly affected. What's your message to people like me from the outside that doesn't go through that? What do you want us to know?
don't simplify yourself for nobody, honestly. And that's something that mentally, my first 2 years in NFL, I can sit here and say that I was doing the opposite, and it was affecting me mentally. I had to go therapy, I had to do all this. I was okay with the violence. Like, I was like, you know what I'm saying? So for me, and it was because I wasn't communicating. I was to myself, I was doing all this because I couldn't be who I was.
Okay.
It was a problem if I wore like I mean, I've had a chain my whole life, but like a little chain like this that has a medallion with my, like it was wrong for me to do that in the team I was on. It was wrong for me to have my hair all out wild, or, you know, it was wrong for me to dress the way I dressed. So everything I was doing, it was mentally getting to me. And I told my brother that exact thing I just said yesterday. Don't simplify yourself for nobody. Cause like, I don't want to do too much. Like, bro, that's all. You do too much every day. Like, don't change who you are. Like, if you're gonna dress like that, dress like that. If you're gonna play like that, play football like that, play like that. Don't quiet yourself because you feel like, oh, I'm the young one on the team. If you talk noise on the field, talk noise every time you play. Okay. And that's something I learned like after my second year, and actually letting my balls drop and like being my own man. I would say it was my confidence level of me just being who I am. Always, never, you know. So I would say that don't simplify yourself for nobody.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. I know before we go into our trivia game, because I'm looking at the time, but I wanted to say congrats on fatherhood too. You just had a baby, so congratulations on that. You know, how's that experience so far?
It's been really fun, honestly. I'm in the stage where I get night shifts, so he sleep all day, up all night. 4 a.m, he want to watch TV, so it's been fun though. Luckily, I'm a night owl too, so it's not affecting me too bad. But it's been really fun and motivational. I honestly see it in myself, like just the way I'm playing ball, like wow, the one two I want to have to go work out or do business, or just in general, just chasing other dreams. Even when I chase those dreams, it's not about me. I feel like it's just natural. Just okay, I gotta get it, like, you know. So it's been motivation.
Gotcha. Okay, but we have two fun fact questions that we like to ask before we get off. So I'm gonna go into that. Mine is, if you could sit down and talk to anyone about Black history, because this is Black History Month, who would it be? They could be dead or alive. And what question would you ask them?
Give me 30 seconds.
Dead or alive, everybody.
I don't want to be cliche and say Malcolm X and MLK, though. That's what I'm trying to do.
It is the season, though.
I know. I'm going to say Pop.
Okay.
He's my favorite artist, and not even besides music, just somebody I read his books a lot. I listen to him a lot, and one question I would ask him would be, if he was here today, what? Let me see how I would say that. Y'all kill me with that one.
Yeah. But now, Pac seems like you just have some deep conversations in general, man. The conversation has to flow with that dude.
Yeah. And the question to ask him is just so wide. I mean, I would honestly ask him, like, from what he had done different from the times he was going through it, and the racism. Even, I mean, I think things have changed a little bit, but not fully changed. Like, it's not day and night. It's maybe be a here and there, but it's still, we see it every day. Some people feel it every day. So just things he would do different in his circumstances.
Okay. I'm gonna hit you with two questions real quick, if you don't mind. First question: if obviously your current quarterback is leaving out, what quarterback, if you had to pick one that you could play with next year, dream scenario, not saying leaving the Steelers or whatever, but just you personally, what quarterback would you play with next year?
Sean Watson.
Okay. I'm sure there's a list for that, brother. So
yeah, Sean Watson.
Okay. Why Watson?
Just being in the huddle with him is just different. Like you don't feel no fear, you don't feel no panic. Like it's always just the same vibes. Whether you up 21 or you down 5, 2 minutes on the clock, it's just always the same. And he a cool brother. Like he just whatever he got going right now, that's something that he's gonna go beat and go through, but him as a player himself, like you can't doubt that he's a winner. Like no one can say he's not, and I love that about him. He know how to win, whether it's on his feet or with his arm or with his leadership. He gonna get the job done, and I also went to college with him. So
I was gonna say y'all got that Clemson vibe. So yeah. Okay. Another quick question to close this out. What's the craziest daredevil thing that you've ever done? What would you say? We'll ask you to keep it PG again.
Yeah.
Andrew Webb did. Nah, that's y'all. I would say, oh man, I was a daredevil. I used to like flip off like fences, like trash cans. But I would say me driving.
Okay. Okay.
When my freshman year, I got turn my business. I was in somebody else's car, but I was going like 125, 123. I let my teammates hype me up, like, man, beat some time. Let's get. We was going to Clemson or Florida State, and then the next like 50 minutes, I got caught going like 98 or something. Yeah. But I was 18, I was young, so I was just doing craziness. I'm kind of chill now. I'll be settled. So I don't know. I don't really do too many crazy things anymore that I can think about. Somebody else could probably tell you better stories, but I'm gonna say that one.
I'm sure you got a lot of them in there. But
exactly.
That's what a politically correct one.
Yeah.
But before we get off, tell everybody where they can follow you.
Shoot, I'm on everything, man. Instagram, Ray Ray McCloud III. TikTok, I think RM3 or Ray Ray McCloud III. Twitter, RM3_. Facebook, Ray Ray McCloud III. Everything usually Ray Ray McCloud III or RM3. So anywhere you want to find me, put those two in. I should pop up. Hopefully, unless they took me off social media. But yeah.
Well, hopefully not.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
But I do want to say thanks for interviewing with us today. We sure appreciate you. You know, it was a pleasure to get to know you and know your journey. Like I always tell people this, you have a fan within me. And Theo,
Definitely.
anything you want to say?
Nah, man, definitely everybody go check out Ray Ray McCloud. Go follow him on his social media. And definitely me personally, brother, I look for big things for you to do next year. I was pleased the way they use you. And you know, when you got your shots, you definitely leveraged them. So big things to come for you. Definitely getting sent your way.
Appreciate that. Thank y'all for having me, CC and Theo. God bless y'all.
Definitely.
Thanks to you. Have a happy
Yes, sir.
2022.
You
All
too.
right.
Bless.
Yeah.